Hey, it's Tim Bivens, SGD 113. Today we're going to divert a little bit from the book and do an assignment to kind of reinforce what you've learned about the variables and learn a couple things about Unity UI. Right? So this is the assignment we're working on. I need to change the date there. Never mind that. And when I'm done here, I'll have a screenshot to show you kind of what the end result looks like, and I'll put that in the assignment. I haven't done that yet. But anyway, just to give an overview, you're going to have a text field, a button, and a UI text object. The text field will allow the user to enter text. When the button is clicked, the UI text object will display what was in the text field. Actually, it will do that continually, right? Each time you press the button, the contents of the field should be concatenated onto the end of the UI text object. And we'll walk through this in class. Well, we'll walk through this right now. This is class. All right, so let's do that. So I already have my Unity project open. You can make it 2D because that's all we're using is UI elements anyway, so there's no reason to make it 3D. All right. So what did it say we needed? All right. We need a text field, a button, and a UI text object. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so let's start with the text field. All right, let's do that. Game object, UI, text. All right, focus on that. Like that. What I'm going to do is make this text field large enough. I'm going to anchor it at the bottom center. I hold down Option, click there, right? But then I'm going to stretch it so that it fills most of the screen except for the very top, right? Because I'm going to put my button and my text field up there, right? So I'm going to do it basically like that, right? And then it leaves room for my button and my text field up here, right? All right. I'm also let's change the color of the text. I'm going to make it bright yellow this time. And the main camera, I'm going to go here and just make that black, right? The text, I'm going to make 28. And we'll go ahead. Horizontal in this case, I'm actually going to leave wrap on. And vertical overflow, I'll go to overflow. Although I made the text large enough so that it'll fill. We've got a lot of room for it to fill up, so it should be good. All right, so we got our text field. This is all just a setup. We haven't even programmed anything yet. So assets, game object, UI. Let's see, input field. I always call it a text field. Input field. And this I'm going to anchor and move up to the top left corner. So hold down Option and hit that widget button there, right? And then one more thing, I'm going to do a button, game object, UI, button. All right. And this I'm going to anchor and move up to the top right corner. So I'm going to click the widget, hold down Option, and click the top right one. Like that. All right. All right, so that's all we need as far as the setup goes. All right, so let's create a script. I'll create a scripts folder, like you should always do, scripts, and open that folder. And let's see, we will call this NiB Variables, right? So create C# script NiB variables, right? And then we'll open that the correct way by going to Assets, Open C# Project. And then we'll wait for that to launch. I'm going to pause it while I do. All right, we're back now. We're going to open up our script here. All right. Here is our script, right? All right, we're going to be accessing UI elements, so we're going to need to do using, right, Unity engine .ui, right? All right, and we need to push data to our text object, and we need to pull stuff from the input field. So we need references to both of those. So we're going to say public text output text and public input field if in field. Right. All right. So that will allow us to get stuff from the input field and push stuff to the output. Right. We're also going to create a text that's going to hold what we're going to output, right? And let's see, public string. Let's see, we'd call it out text, right? Just to hold text. This is just a comment there, right? 2 slashes allow you to comment. All right. Okay, and what we need now, right, is we're going to have a function that's called when we press that button that's going to do something, right? So first we're just going to create a blank function to make sure the button works. So let's do that. So say public void handle button click. All right. And to start with, like I said, this is called a stub function. When there's nothing in there, it's called a stub, and it's good to have a debugged log in your stub function that just says, "Hey, we are here," right? And, all right. All right, so now we can call that button, and when we click it, it'll show up in the console that we've clicked it, right? That's a good thing just to know it's working, right? All right, so let me name my output text here because I will need that in a second, right? All right, so we're going to go to the button, right? First, we need to take this NiB Variables. We're going to do something here. We're going to create a blank, empty game object, right? Create empty. Notice Shift Command N gives us a blank game object, and we're going to call that Game Manager. Get used to making a game manager because almost every game should have one, right? And I'm going to take this script and put it on the game manager. Most of the time when you have a real game, you actually create a script called Game Manager and put that on there. Right? But in this case, we just have NiB Variables on there. Right? Now I can hook up this output text here. We'll go ahead and do that to what I named the text named output text, right? And these we'll just leave there. Well, the in field we can do that too. Input field, there we go. All right, the out text we're going to set in code, so you don't have to. You can leave that alone. All right, so now we can create a function. Well, we already created the function. Now we can connect that function to the button. So we click on the button. Come over here where you see the button script. If you come down here, it says on click. It says list is empty. Well, we don't want it to be empty because this is the list of things that happens when we click the button. So we're going to click the little plus here. We're going to, when you do this, what this little box here is, it's looking for the object to which the script is attached where your function is, right? In this case, our script is attached to the game manager, so we're going to click here and make sure it gives you 2 tabs. You want to go to the scene because we want the game managers in the scene, right? And then you click on the game manager. All right, so now we've selected the object to which the script is attached. Now we come to this pull down and find the script that we have, right? The script that we want is NiB Variables, and then we're going to come down here to handle button click. That's all you got to do. All right, at this point, when we click the button, this function will get called, right? So if we click on the console here and we start our game, we should see that the button works. All right, so we click the button. All right, and it's clicking, right? Not doing anything fantastic yet because we haven't told it to, right? But we know the button is working, right? So all we have to do now is the final part of the assignment, right? So let's see. Each time the button is pressed, the contents of the field should be concatenated onto the end of the UI text object, right? So what we're going to do is concatenate it to this out text here and then print the out text, right? So how do we do that? All right, so once we're inside the handle button click, which we know gets called when we click the button, right? So we can just say, we're going to say out text plus equals, which concatenates whatever's there prior to getting to this line, right? It's going to add on to it, which is exactly what we wanted to do. All right, and then we'll say, what do we want? We want the value of the input field, right? And our input field is called in field, right? And the value of it is just text, so we take text like that, all right? So here we've taken this variable out text and we're adding, concatenating whatever's in that text field onto the end of the value of out text, right? And then all we have to do is set our output text.text to out text, and we're good, right? So output text.text equals out text, right? And we could have honestly concatenated directly to output text.text and saved ourselves a line of code there. And there's reason to do that, but since this was a variable assignment, I just thought we'd create a variable and concatenate to it, you know. Anyway, so there is that, and that's about all we have to do, I think. Let's see, yes. All right, let's check it out. Pretty simple, really. So let's get going. Let's check it out. All right, so you just click in this box, right, and say testing, like that, and click the button. And of course, you can change what's in here to begin. And clever. Oh. Amazing. All right, so that's what it should look like when you're done, right? So I'm going to screenshot that and I'll stick that in the assignment. All right, pretty simple. So then you just build a WebGL of that and put your code in there, all right, your C# file inside of the build folder, and then zip that up and turn that in. That's all there is to that. Simple.